Okay, so let's just dive right in. It feels like almost overnight, artificial intelligence has just exploded onto the scene and become one of the biggest topics in education. And this is a technology that wasn't even built for the classroom, but it's here now, and it's creating these massive opportunities and also some really serious concerns. So today, we're going to break down what this all really means. And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of everything. The fear here isn't just about, kids cheating or teachers losing their jobs. It's about something much deeper. It's about the risk of losing that essential human connection, that spark between a teacher and a student that makes for a truly great education. So, here we are facing this brand new reality in the classroom. In one hand, we've got a tool that could be the most brilliant, personalized tutor ever created. But in the other hand, it's also the perfect shortcut to avoid actually learning anything at all. And that's the real tension we're going to unpack. And you can really see that two-sided coin right here. I mean, on one side, you have this unbelievable potential to give every kid access to high-quality learning, to prevent our teachers from burning out. But on the other side, there are these huge risks that these tools won't just help us think, but might actually replace our ability to think. It's a really fascinating and frankly a kind of terrifying balancing act. Now, what's so interesting here is how AI is acting as what one professor called a forcing function. Think about it. The problems in our schools, like how do we fairly test students, how do we stop cheating, these are not new problems. Not at all. We've been kind of kicking that can down the road for years. But now AI has shown up and basically said, nope, the road ends here. You have to deal with all of this stuff right now. All right, so let's really weigh these two sides, the promise and the peril. And we're going to start with the data that's raising some pretty big red flags. This is the peril side of the coin, and it's all based on how students are actually using these tools out in the wild. And this number really says it all. A study looked at how students were using the AI Claude, and it found that almost half, a staggering 47%, of their interactions were what they called direct transactional. That's really just a fancy way of saying, here's my homework problem, now you give me the answer. There's no thinking, no back and forth, basically very little real learning. That is a huge wake-up call. Now, to understand why that's such a big deal, we need a quick look at this classic education idea called Bloom's taxonomy. It basically just ranks our thinking skills, from the simple stuff at the bottom, like just remembering facts, all the way up to the really complex, high-level skills at the top, like analyzing and creating something new. So here's the kicker. AI is completely flipping the script on this whole pyramid. When a student just asks for the answer, the AI is doing all that heavy lifting up at the top, the analyzing, the creating, which are the exact skills we want students to be developing for themselves. The student is just left with the easy part, copy and paste. And what's absolutely fascinating is that the students, they know this is a risk. They're totally aware of it. In fact, they've come up with their own name for it, brain rot. That's their term for the fear that if they rely on AI too much, their own critical thinking muscles are just going to waste away. But okay, let's pivot. We've talked about the peril. Let's talk about the incredible promise. Because this statistic right here is it's stunning. Research shows that an average student who gets one-on-one human tutoring performs better than 98% of the students in a regular classroom. I mean, think about that. That's basically the holy grail of education. So if that's how powerful one-on-one help is, what if AI could finally make it available to every single student? Just imagine a personalized tutor, there for you 24/7, for any kid, anywhere in the world, ready to help with any subject. That's the dream, right? Every student could have their own learning path, speeding ahead where they're strong and getting extra help right where they need it. And it's not just about tutoring. AI can create these super engaging, interactive learning experiences that were just impossible to do at scale before. Imagine a biology student playing a game where they are the virus, trying to infect a cell. Or a history student actually having a conversation with Abraham Lincoln about the Civil War. I mean, that's a level of engagement that could bring learning to life in a whole new way. So this huge technological shift, it's forcing us to rethink everything, not just the tools we use, but the curriculum itself. We have to move away from a world that values just finding answers to a world that values asking the right questions. And that brings us to the central challenge for every educator, every parent, right now. In a future where any specific skill you learn could be totally obsolete in just a few years, what are the truly durable skills? The ones that are going to last a lifetime? Well, here's a pretty practical way to think about it. Part 1 is simple. Foundational knowledge is more important than ever. You can't spot if an AI gives you a bad math answer if you're bad at math yourself. And part two is turning students into critical consumers of information, teaching them how to question things, how to check sources, and how to analyze why an answer is what it is. This also means the role of the adult has to change a bit. Instead of just being the person with all the answers, maybe the most powerful thing we can do now is to model uncertainty, to actually show our kids, hey, I don't know the answer to that, but here's how I'm going to figure it out. It's about teaching them how to learn. So, with all that in mind, how are the people actually building these AI tools responding to this challenge? Let's take a look at how a company like Anthropic is trying to build a better, more responsible AI tutor through really intentional product design. And a perfect example of this is a feature they built called Learning Mode. It is a direct answer to that brain rot problem we talked about. So instead of just spitting out the solution, it positions the AI as a guide. It asks the student questions, it walks them through the material, and helps them prep for exams. It's designed to help you learn, not to do the learning for you. And get this, what's so cool is how this feature even got started. It wasn't some big top-down corporate plan. The very first version of Learning Mode was actually built in just 2 weeks by this passionate grassroots team inside the company. Just engineers and designers who really cared about the educational impact and just decided to build it. This quote, it just captures a philosophy that feels so different from most of what you hear in Silicon Valley. The goal isn't just about maximizing engagement or making you dependent on the platform. It's about empowering people to know when and how to use this tool and, just as importantly, when not to. At the end of the day, this is not a problem that technology is going to solve on its own. It's way bigger than that. It's a collective challenge for all of us, and it requires a whole new way of thinking about what it means to learn and live in an AI-powered world. The best way forward is going to be built on partnerships. It's going to take the developers, the teachers, the parents, and especially the students all being part of the same conversation, sharing what's working, what isn't, and figuring out this new reality together. And that really brings us to a final, pretty deep question. If intelligence itself becomes abundant, something that's just everywhere, like electricity, what's left for us? What are those truly human skills, things like creativity, curiosity, empathy, connection, that we should be pouring our energy into nurturing? Maybe the best way to think about this new era is this right here. The future doesn't belong to the people who have all the answers. It belongs to the people who know how to ask the best questions. And there has never been a better time to have a good problem to solve.